Welcome viewers and subscribers to Insight Edge News. In today's news, Government is looking at a programme to make lands available for housing development as part of measures to drive down housing costs for Jamaicans. Prime Minister, the Most Honourable Andrew Holness, in making the disclosure at the recent opening of Sagicor Group's New Brunswick village in Spanish Town, St. Catherine, said the objective is to make construction of houses more affordable and enable more low-income persons to own a home. We will have to dig deep into our land bank and make lands available where the price point of the land is considered in the total value of the house, but subtracted from the total value when the house is sold. We have started to look at that. We are very much down the wicket, and at the appropriate time we will make an announcement as to how this programme will be executed, the Prime Minister said. He pointed out that through the availability of financing, joint ventures, the Developers Programme and the Guaranteed Purchase Programme with the National Housing Trust, NHT, the government has been able to influence the market and keep prices in a range that people can afford. He noted, however, that more needs to be done to reach that segment of the market where the real need exists, which is the low-income bracket. The Prime Minister said the NHT and the Housing Agency of Jamaica, HAJ, are actively building houses for low-income earners, but they will not be able to build all the affordable and accessible houses that are required. We need the private sector to go into that segment of the market, and we must get the prices down to benefit the bartenders, the mechanics, the hairdressers, the gardeners. Those persons need houses too, he said. The Prime Minister says that part of reducing housing costs is improving the approvals and permitting processes and integrating technology in the building process. Stay tuned to Insight Edge News for more news updates and in-depth coverage. A woman and a man have been hospitalised following a two-vehicle crash on the Kendal main road in Manchester on Thursday. Barnett Brown, a JPSco contractor, said about 5 p.m. he and his nephew were travelling through the area to Ticky Ticky to restore electricity when a Honda motor car travelling in the opposite direction collided with his pickup. "Me a come down the road a go pon duties and me see the driver of the Honda a come towards me and him stray over to my side and slap in a me and write me vehicle off," he said while pointing that the road was wet at the time of the crash. "The people in the car jerk up bad," he said in reference to the injured man and woman. Up to 6 p.m, police were on the scene directing traffic. In other news, a St. Catherine vendor has been charged in connection with the murder of a senior citizen who recently succumbed to injuries he received when he was hit in his head with a piece of wood while walking. The deceased has been identified as 86-year-old Vincent Lewin of Pollyground district, Ewarton in the parish. Charged with murder is 38-year-old Rodrick Minzie of the same community. According to the police, about 10:30 a.m. on Thursday, June 20th, Lewin was walking along the roadway when he was hit in his head with a piece of wood. He was reportedly assisted to the hospital, where he was admitted in serious condition. The police said Minzie was later arrested when he turned up at the hospital seeking treatment for wounds. The police said they were alerted, and after preliminary inquiries, Minzie was identified as a suspect in the incident. The investigation was upgraded to murder when Lewin succumbed to his injuries on Saturday, June 22nd. Minzie was charged on Wednesday, June 26th, and is awaiting a court date. Stay tuned to Insight Edge News for more news updates and in-depth coverage. There's no way that we can continue on this path. A share of the millions of dollars collected in traffic ticket fines could be used for a major public education campaign aimed at stemming the carnage on the nation's roads if Darryl Vaz gets his wish. Vaz, the Minister of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport, described the number of road crashes and fatalities as a national emergency, saying last week that the situation is getting from bad to worse and needs an immediate response through a properly structured public education campaign. There's no way that we can continue on this path in relation to the loss of lives and the impact on families and our infrastructure, hospital services, etc., which is a national emergency, Vaz told a press conference at his Trafalgar Road offices in St Andrew last week, pointing out that while the 192 deaths recorded since the start of the year is 13% less than the 205 recorded for the same period last year, Vaz stressed that this is still totally unacceptable. He lamented that based on his inquiries, there is no budget allocated to the Transport Ministry for public education and other activities surrounding road safety. Vaz noted that the revenue earned from traffic fines are normally distributed between the Ministry of National Security, which gets 42% of the funds, and the Ministry of Justice, which gets 18%, while the balance goes to the Consolidated Fund through the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service. I made a simple recommendation out of that 100%. The Ministry of Transport must get an allocation. It was accepted, and the Permanent Secretary is awaiting a draft Cabinet submission to see exactly what the recommendation has been in relation to the allocation, Vaz said, noting that in excess of $600 million in traffic ticket fines were collected between January 1st and June 2nd this year. Vaz said a share of up to 25% could fund a properly structured response to what is taking place on the roads. He said the funds would not have to be used for public education only and could include the provision of helmets for motorcyclists, as he made reference to Prime Minister Andrew Holness's plan to distribute 10,000 helmets to motorcyclists. If those 10,000 were procured and used, he said, some of the deaths in recent weeks could have been prevented. Vaz said the plan is to put in place a long-term campaign and not the Transport Ministry finding $5 million here and another ministry finding $10 million here and running the campaign for 3 months and then it's all over. You're talking about something that has to be sustained and a plan in what is the message that we're going to get into the psyche of the people that when they get behind that wheel, the first thing that they remember before they move off is what they saw vividly on that screen, on the highway, what they saw in the television commercials in relation to something that would get them to say, "You know something, I better take it easy today," he said. Vaz said that to ensure the sustainability of the intervention, the government may need international assistance from organisations that do this every day and have seen the results. I look forward to that reallocation, which will allow us to move very fast, but we cannot wait on that. We have to find other ways and means to be able to start the process, getting the solution in conjunction with the police to stem the deaths on the roads, he said. This is Insight Edge News, keeping you informed with the latest news. Stay safe and remember to subscribe and share. See you next time.